Before question number 24, we have two parts. The first one is to evaluate it for sin inverse 1 by root 2. So let's get the first part done, and it's part A. So this is 3 sin inverse 1 by root 2 plus 2 cos inverse root 3 by 2 plus cos inverse 0. Okay, now, so angle of sine for which value is 1 by root 2 is pi by 4, and angle of cos for which cos value is root 3 by 2 is cos 30, and that is pi by 6, and cos inverse 0. Cos inverse is 0 when angle is pi by 2. So this is 3 pi by 4 plus pi by 3 plus pi by 2, that is equal to 12. This is 9 pi plus 12 is 4 pi plus 6 pi. So this is 19 pi by 12 is the answer for option A. Let's move on to option D. Okay, and for option D, it's given that we have to draw the graph of f of x is equal to sine inverse x. Now our function is, this is part B of question number 24. So f of x is sine inverse x. F of x means y, so y is equal to sine inverse x, and it's the opposite of the graph for sine y is equal to x. We know the graph of sine y is equal to x. Let's try to understand this. So graph of sine y is equal to x, where x is the angle and y is the numerical value. So our numerical value is on y-axis, so maximum value is 1 and minimum is -1. So this is 0, angles are 0 to pi by 2. This is pi and 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi. On this it's negative pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2 and -2 pi. Okay, for sine 0 is 0, sine pi by 2 is sine 90 is 1, sine pi is 0, sine 3 by 2 is -1, sine 2 pi is 0. So on this side, the graph is this curve, and sine negative pi by 2 is -1, sine pi is 0, sine 3 by 2 is 1, and 2 minus 2 pi is 0. So this is the graph on this side. But this graph is inverse. The function is inverse when it's between -2 pi by 2 and pi by 2. So our graph is between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. It's like this, but we have to draw the graph of y is equal to sine inverse x. So now the axis changes, and for y is equal to sine inverse x, the axis changes. That means now the y-axis has angles and the x-axis has the numerical values. So this is x-axis and this is y-axis. So for y-axis we have the angle 0. This is pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi. For this it's negative pi by 2, negative 3 pi by 2 and negative 2 pi. And here we have the values -1, 1. Okay, now sine for sine pi by 2, the value is 1, and sine 0 is 0, so sine minus pi by 2, the value is -1. So we have this graph for the sine, which looks like, so this is the graph. Let me just sketch it once again. And this is our graph. So now, but we have to get the graph between when x is between, so x lies between -1 by root 2 to 1 by root 2. and 1 by root 2 is equal to 1 upon 4.14, which will give us the value 0.7. So x lies between negative 0.7 to 0.7. So this is, let's say, negative 0.7 is here and 0.7 is here. So our graph is still the same for negative 0.7, negative 0.7. This is negative 1 by root 2 to 1 by root 2. And we have this is the graph. So you can give it a free hand. So this is the graph between minus 1 by root 2 and 1 by root 2. Now, or you can sketch it. So this graph goes like this. Okay. Now we have to find the range of the graph as well. So the minimum value is minus 1 by root 2. So this is sine inverse minus 1 by root 2 is equal to y. So sine inverse minus 1 by root 2, this is minus 1 by root 2 is equal to sine y. And we know that sine is negative when this is minus 1 by root 2. This is minus sine pi by 4, which is equal to sine y. And okay, so this can be written as sine of minus pi by 4 is equal to sine y. Sine gets cancelled. Y is equal to minus pi by 4. So for minus 1 by root 2, our range is minus pi by 4. And similarly for sine inverse 1 by root 2 is equal to y. This gives 1 by root 2 is equal to sine y, which is sine pi by 4 is equal to sine y. This gets cancelled and y is equal to pi by 4. So the range for 1 by root 2 is pi by 4. So the range for this function is when x is belongs to minus 1 by root 2 to 1 by root 2, the range is minus pi by 4 to pi by 4. So we are done with the question number 24, and let's move on to question number 25.